What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the One More Rep podcast. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Percher. This episode is brought to you by NutriBio Supplements, Crystals, Bikinis, and Bio Longevity Labs. Check out the link in the description for the discount codes to save you some money. Um, Today, I'm joined by my friends, the Moses of Muscle himself, and Austin Brown. What's up, guys? How are you?
What it do?
Um, so we got questions. Mr. Josh just informed me he's got questions to start with, which is a nice change of pace. I always have all the questions. So let's hear it. What do you got?
All right. So first question I got is if suddenly fasting blood glucose starts to rise when doing higher doses of GH, what's the first set of action? Let me preface this by I ask a little bit deeper of like how much GH. 24 IUs a day.
Whoa. Is the guy big?
According to his coach, he's put on 50 pounds of muscle.
No, no,
Recently.
that's not no, that's not what I asked. Is it
He's like
what size
200
what's
pounds.
what size shirt does he wear?
I genuinely don't know. I'm gonna say he's about 220-ish pounds.
On stage? Or
No, off season.
alrighty.
He's trying to get there though, bro.
He's
He's
trying to get there. No, I respect it.
pumping IUs. What do you got, Joe? What do you got on that one?
Man, that's a lot. That's a
It's
lot of GH.
yeah. It's
I almost am never gonna say lower the dose, but hearing all of this context, I would probably lower the dose.
I mean,
If I could handle this much, I would do it. So if he's not getting any side effects in terms of carpal tunnel, he can afford it. He knows it's real GH and he's hell bent on moving forward with this. I would consider two things. I would consider retatrutide and I would consider insulin. And then break that down into whether or not you need LANTUS, whether you need multiple doses of LANTUS, and then what you're doing with the timing of your food and the sizes of your meals. And then you may need some rapid on top of the LANTUS as well.
yeah, I think that's kind of the obvious answer. But not moving past that, this is all prefaced with him being like on point with his bodybuilding in general. Like,
He's
is
got
he?
to be 100%.
Yeah, are you pumping 24 IUs and like you're eating four free meals a week and they're at midnight and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
right, right.
Is this guy a great bodybuilder? If you're being a great bodybuilder, your meals are on point, and then it moves into kind of like, okay, let's like utilize like some maybe nutrition strategies. At first, maybe it's like your off days, or you're really bumping the fats, maybe up to like if this guy's bigger and hot calories high, you're doing 200 grams of fat on a non-training day, and carbs are down to 100 or something, or
Right.
whatever. Various strategies that way with meal timing, yada yada yada. But then, yeah, I mean, the obvious answer is like if other side effects aren't showing their face, which, man, like me and you both went through it, right? Like, surely there's some other things, kind of coming about with that, side effects. So, but if he's handling everything well and wants to continue, the obvious answer is the insulin at least. But you mentioned like splitting LANTUS, and I see people do this sometimes. I've just never really understood that. Do you like? Is that
I'm
something?
doing it myself.
Okay. Like, what's your rationale there, I guess?
So I would do this. I'm up at, you know, early,
Yeah.
right? So I'm doing this. Let's say a lot of times I was taking my shot at 6 a.m. Right. First meal's at 6:30. My eating window is, let's say, 13 or 14 hours. I'm done with my food by say 7:30. My final doing this single shot 6 a.m. by meal 5, 6, and 7, my blood sugar is not coming back to where it needs to be in time for me to fit all these meals in. And it was staying uncharacteristically high based on the amount of carbs that I was eating,
After how many you said?
like meals 5, 6, and 7. So second half of the day, it's I was getting, yes, it's 24-hour action, right? I was noticing a strong action for 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
So then at any point in between that, so what I started doing is splitting my dose in half. So I'm doing 40 a day. So I would take 20 in the morning, and then I would take 20 about 6 hours later, which is either meal 3 or meal 4. And what I'm finding is that every time I want to eat or that it's time to eat, my blood sugar is sub 80 doing it this way. Whereas doing it as a bolus, 40 IUs in the morning, meals 1 through 4, when it's time to eat, blood sugar would be sub 80. Meals 5, 6, and 7, even if I tried to push them off a little bit longer, even post meal walk, all this stuff, 115, 120.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, that's really good data to see that. I'm curious, what did the first half of the day do meal wise with like when doing the bolus? Much of a difference or pretty similar
I'm eating
onset?
the same meals.
No, I'm doing
Oh,
20 and I'm saying like postprandial for that first part of the day versus when you were doing it bolus.
that's what I'm talking about. Those numbers that I'm reading you are like when it's time to eat again.
Were those much of a difference between doing 20 in the morning or doing it the 40 bolus, or was it
Oh
about
no. So I was
the
still
day was
getting, so then when I would split it, I was still getting those awesome ones the first 2 or 3 meals. Then I'd put another shot in, and it was like I started the whole process over.
well, in theory, if you like zoom out and look at that, like it's always 40 going on at the same time. If we're looking at say they end at 24 hours, right?
Right.
But yeah, that onset, I didn't know about that, or like
That
kind of
could just be me too. I know people that have done it all, and it, you know what? From that data that I saw with myself, the idea of doing your single bolus dose of Lantus before bed makes such little sense to me, because then it's like, man, if it's truly like a 6 to 10 hour strong action time, you just wasted that while you're sleeping. That's just what I saw with myself, though. I know people that will take their entire bolus before bed, and all day they get awesome postprandial or pre-meal readings. So again, it's individual. And I was going to say this, going back to the same guy's question, I see an enormous, enormous difference with not only how high my blood sugar gets, but how quickly it returns to a spot where I can accept food again if I am using cream of rice instead of white rice. Enormous difference.
mm,
When you say that, are you using like the flavored stuff or like,
I use mostly the orange box.
okay.
But I
just
use both. I use both. A lot of times we have a whole stockpile of flavored cream of rice, and my meals are big, so I'm not going to take down 170 grams of, you know, expensive cream of rice 5 times a day. So I'll split it. Like if I have a meal that's 170 grams of cream of rice, I'll do 75, 85 and 85 of plain versus flavored.
Or the same.
we're using jasmine rice for that. Is that what you're comparing it
Yep.
to?
Yep.
So I could be totally off here. I think the GI and like the GI of the jasmine rice is much lower than like the white and rich rice that's probably being utilized.
Mm,
Cream of rice, so it's kind of hitting a little quicker. You know,
yeah. No,
That's
I
my,
see it. I
it's
see
got
it.
a pretty low GI like glycemic index versus the powder. I think would be much higher. I don't know if that could be the difference, right? Maybe.
so I looked this up actually a couple like years ago, because I was trying to save money and make my own cream of rice. The
Yeah.
the cream of rice that I forget what the orange box is called, Uncle Ben's or whatever. They use basmati, and basmati has a lower
Oh.
GI index and a lower glycemic load, so it doesn't spike the blood glucose quite as much. Um, I
Have you
also,
guys ever used actual basmati rice?
yes,
I
And
hate it.
how you
I
hate
love
it
it.
I hate it. I
and
don't like
and
that. I
you
don't
love
like
it.
that rubbery kind of wiggly texture of it. And
Mm.
jasmine's so flavorful.
I
Honestly,
love it in prep.
Yeah,
Interesting. I've never used anything other than jasmine rice.
I tried the basmati, and then what was that other one? I will never think of the name, but
Sushi.
it
You
had
know what? I've used sushi rice and it's killer. When you're
Sushi
eating a ton of food, it's killer because it's it's like
sticks.
clumpy.
sticky. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's what I would do. Also, I would consider going back to this guy's question. It's an enormous amount. But again, if he's not having like overnight, during sleep carpal tunnel, I would make it a point to do it all before bed. Because if you're doing 4 different servings of 6 IUs during the day, you're going to end up diabetic. Your blood sugar is perpetually high all throughout the day.
So a little more context. He was splitting it 4 times.
Well,
He was
there you go.
using
should
I
try.
want to say 35 units of Humalog total. So it was like 15 pre, 20 post.
Still,
And he told me his postprandial 1 hour after eating his first meal, which was 170 grams of carbs, was 80 or 81.
That's
But
great.
that was his one dosage of GH in the morning with 15 units of Humalog. And then pre-training, he had another dosage.
That's also that food's also in and out before this GH has like if he's waking up, pinning the GH, eating the food, the GH is hours later.
Yeah. So I think that
Though,
this one's a little more like a lot of context to it.
yeah,
Um,
I think if he's gonna bring Lantus in, like we talked about, or even a Reddit, I don't know that retatrutide in an
like
amount that
6
will
milligrams.
allow him to continue to eat his food is going to be enough to manage that much GH. In my own experience, I don't think that's going to be the case. But if he's going to continue that GH dose and bring in a fair amount of Lantus, you could make the argument that he can continue doing multiple servings of GH throughout the day. It's gonna balance the two. And I think then you can make the argument that that is going to lead to greater potential for anabolism by having that high IGF all throughout the day, as opposed to one big spike overnight.
yeah, it's the ultimate old question, right? I think the one more point here is like ask if this guy's doing cardio, like that comes
Or
up.
walking after his meals.
Yeah, moving, in general, like a baseline level of cardio, 4 to 5, 6 sessions a week at 20 to 30 minutes of moderate intensity, and then just like having a step goal and moving your body and making sure that you are, giving yourself the free tools to help this issue, right?
And
100%.
that's wild. It's wild ever since I started talking about how much I was, and I'm not saying that I'm the first person to try this. It seems like, you talk about red cars or think about red cars, and all of a sudden that's all that you see. I started talking about how much GH I was using, and all these people started sharing their experience with me or in my vicinity. It's just been interesting to hear how different people are. Like, man, I cannot imagine running 20. If I could run 24 IUs without getting carpal tunnel, dog, I would be on that until the day they bury my ass.
Yeah, because the first few weeks of running the high GH
Was
was,
fucking awesome, dude.
and then it was like it was a head-on collision. It was a head-on
It
collision.
was like it was sick for 17 days. And then for 7 days, it was like, this is manageable. And then for 14 days, it was a catastrophe,
A tsunami.
a
Yeah,
tsunami.
just yeah, man. Yeah, same. Rough. Yeah, I forgot about that little interim period where it was like, okay, I'm feeling some negative stuff here, and then it was just like, I am fucked.
Fuck you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
I'm going to do the surgery though, dude. I don't know if I told you guys about it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, you
I
said you.
talked to Roman about it, and he goes, I sent him a message, and I was like, hey man, hope you're doing well. Awesome to see you back on stage. Like, hope everything with the hips are good. Like, whatever. I had heard that you had gotten this surgery. Like, just wanted to hear your experience. anything that you can share. He sent me a handful of message like responses and insight, but the first words that he sent me were life changing. Do it. I was like, okay, fuck.
What's the recovery there?
He said that he was overhead pressing dumbbells in 5 days. I mean, he's a psycho, so but I've heard from other surgeons like a week.
I'm gonna have it looked at because I would love to try that again and not have the carpal tunnel, obviously.
He told me the number one thing to make sure that you do is find someone that is a board certified hand surgeon, because there's apparently all types of surgeons that can do this, like orthopedic surgeon, uh, wrist and arm, all this different stuff. He said, make sure they're board certified, make sure that it's hand specific. He said that he had a friend that did the surgery with a less than reputable surgeon, and it made it worse because they damaged the nerves, and he lives with it permanently now.
Fuck.
Do you have to go under for that one?
Nope, it's local.
Yeah.
Which
Snip it.
yeah, like I've seen videos of it. The people are just awake watching the surgeon do it to their wrists. And if I'm gonna go get it, and it's dude, if this shit's successful for me, I am gonna run a boatload of growth hormone on a daily basis.
Are your fingers still MIA?
My left hand,
Yeah.
these three are just completely numb of my
Yeah.
left hand, which is okay. It's my left hand. That's all right. Like, and it's not painful. It's not painful, and I'm sleeping, dude. I slept great last night.
Same. Might still tingle a bit at night, but it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, like if I wake up to piss, if I wake up because I have to piss, my hands are numb, but it's not painful, and it's not the reason that I got up. And I'm back. I've been back on 8 for a little bit now.
Okay, that was
which is nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm back part of the crew, baby.
Same. I'm ripping 12 now. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're an animal. Yeah, I'm doing 8 IUs of GH, 40 Lantus, 20 Humalog.
I'm doing like on training days, I do the 25 Lantus and then like 8 to 10 log post workout.
I think I'm eating a lot more than you though.
You are.
Yeah. And I also am only doing training days.
Yeah.
What else, Josh? That was a good one. Is that somebody that listens to the show?
Yes.
Whoever that is, tell him to send me a message. I want to talk to him about his experience.
Got you. He's a friend of the podcast client.
Okay, cool.
So,
well, appreciate him listening. Appreciate the question. I'd love to hear his fucking experience, man. He's gonna get enormous.
He is legitimately put on a ton of size. He sent me like a before and after, and it's
yeah.
That's why you're like, is he big? It's like he's
a lot bigger
than he was.
Yeah, hell yeah, awesome.
All right, the next one is a member of Ultimate. I also had to get clarification on this one, so I'm going to read the question and then clarify it. Does the speed of the concentric have any effect on the effectiveness of the workout? And then to follow up, because I just assumed he meant like slow, slow pressing. He meant more so if the speed of the rep gets slower as a set goes on. Is it worth it to decrease the weight so that he could be more explosive and get more reps, or keep the weight the same and just try to get more explosive there?
Can you repeat the initial part of the question? I'm sorry.
Does the speed of the concentric have any effect on the effectiveness of the workout? The
best way that
me or Austin?
I looked at my car.
I'm sober.
Right. Are you?
Yeah.
I had somebody call me out on my last YouTube video. Somebody left a comment and goes, "You sound toasted." I'm like, dog, I haven't smoked weed in a year.
Mine's a mix of being actually stoned and like pure adrenal fatigue.
Well, you're not. You've been traveling and not sleeping.
We're hanging on by here, but we're here.
I fucked my tolerance. I smoked in the sauna, and now it's over now. I can't smoke.
Were you wearing your CGM?
Yes.
And did you come out and your blood sugar was 40?
So the CGM in the sauna gets too
It
hot and
turns
starts
off.
bleeding.
Yeah, but then after.
Right after I did cardio. So
Dog, what?
wake and bake, baby.
You are a wild card, bro. You are such a wild
Wake and
card.
bake. I
Sauna after the cardio. Have
uh,
you ever heard someone sauna before cardio, Austin?
Yeah, 5 minutes or something,
I have.
5 minutes or something, not like a session.
I did like 10 minutes so that my knees were warm and then hopped on the
Okay.
cardio. I smoked
Okay.
while I was in there because I didn't need to smoke that much.
It's,
Um,
you weren't in
Okay.
there. You weren't in there like working hard, sweating.
no, it wasn't like 30, 40 minutes. It was like 10 minutes of like 120 to one. By the time I got out, it was like 132.
Body up. Yeah.
Oh,
You
But
were just like warming up in
yeah,
general.
pretty much. Just getting a sweat going. And then the best way that for the question, the best way I thought about it was like doing a heavy set of bench press. I know that none of us really do that, but like rep three still moves pretty quick. Rep four starts to slow down. Rep five is like a grinder. It's like, should he go up in weight or should he stay at that weight and try and get stronger there? Or should he go down in weight and get more reps? I personally say get more reps because what the fuck's the point in doing a 5 rep bench press max?
I was just gonna ask, like, at what point like, how many reps in did it get slow? Is what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, it
Like,
was,
if he did, if the set was a total of 9 reps and the last three were grinders, like, that's a good set. That's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was my general consensus was like, if it's a 5 rep set and the last two are slow, that just drop the weight a little bit and get more reps because you might as well get more reps anyway. If it's a set of 15 and 10 through 15 are slow, kind of should happen.
Yeah. So you got something here, Joe?
I would do more. I would go heavier next time if that was the case.
Yeah. So, obviously, like he's probably has a prescribed rep range for whatever movement it is.
Sure.
Ideally, that's going to be probably somewhere between 8 and 20 reps. But like I would put this out here to think about for this individual. Like, what does it look like in like the in ranges here? Is it so heavy that you're having to like say it's a squat pattern and you're having to pause like 5 seconds after rep one just to do rep two and then you're doing that for 6 reps and all of those are going to be slow, right? Because you're like basically like rest pausing this set.
That's a
Like,
collection of singles.
exactly. So like I would say like is your tempo moving throughout the set? Like it should, a half-second pause in both in ranges. Other than that, are you having to like pause? But yeah, like we want to be explosive. All sets should be explosive in the beginning, and then as fatigue builds, it should naturally slow down until we're in that close proximity to mechanical failure. So like that's how your sets should look. I would just, as far as like should I increase the weight, stay here? Like how does the set look? Are you moving the weight like a piston and it looks every rep looks the same until you're reaching fatigue? Or is it kind of a shit show where you're like having to gather yourself every rep and like give it hell? Because all we're doing in that instance is like we're driving fatigue really high and risk of injury really high. And yeah, we're getting great stimulus, but at the expense of way too high fatigue and injury risk. So just lighten the load and keep that stimulus the same or potentially better, and you'll be way less fatigued and you'll leave out of there feeling like you got a lot more accomplished than just
I
feeling
think
like the shit beat out of you.
I was gonna say, in a set like that, man, and we've all seen it when somebody looks like the weight is taking them for a ride every single rep. Your nervous system is being trained more than the target muscle.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you're just driving yourself into
Like,
the
you're just getting better at shitty training.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that is the huge caveat of progressive overload, and we've spoke about it before. But like, do not just add weight each week to beat the logbook at the expense of like if your hack squat's looking like that by week 8, just because you're trying to get strong as fuck and you're having to like you're basically like ripping out 2 reps at a good tempo and then you're pausing and you're just grinding until you get 8. Like, let's audit ourselves here, pull the weight back 30% and like make it beautiful again.
I mean, I can add to this point just because Joe has quite literally attacked me when it comes to this stuff. But attack is
Not
a
attacked. No, they're not
yeah, that's a strong
attacked.
word. But like I'll tell you this just from personal experiences, like my knees are shot after every leg day. They just hurt. I had ACL surgery if you're new to the podcast. Um, my knees after Monday, which Joe said was the best set I've ever sent him, felt significantly better today, yesterday, just from kind of keeping the tension on the actual muscle going down a little bit and staying consistent. There
Fucking
definitely was
right.
a percent that he didn't
That's
see,
what I'm talking
but
about. Good.
Yeah,
so
because you guys, I remember a few weeks ago, you had done a set similar to what we've been talking about here, where it was
The
just
way that we just described it.
pausing and like, yeah, it was
Yes.
you were putting in work, but like at the expense of what? And then I saw the set you're referencing today, and it was every rep looked the same until you were really there at the end, and then maybe a couple short pauses to grind out those last couple, and yeah, it was much more productive that
Bodybuilding.
bodybuilding. So
body build.
you go. I love it.
Bodybuild. By the way, Austin shirts are available right now.
Yeah.
Check
So
them out.
yeah,
Yes.
I got a hard post on my page, and then the link in my bio. I'll do the pre-sale until next week. So
Send me the link. I'll put it in the description box for anybody that's interested. You guys can pre-order one of the shirts. Support one of our good friends.
appreciate
Bodybuild. Yep.
it. I love it.
That
That
was
was
the
a good
last
one.
question I got.
Okay. All right. I got a bunch. Any podcasts or channels that you guys listen to in your spare time that you can recommend?
I listen to yours a lot. Is the only one I ever do when I have time. It's right.
Appreciate it.
I listen to a lot more stuff in prep. Frankly,
Me too.
right now I hardly listen to anything. I like watching like prep series and prep though, like more than
They
like
feel relatable when you're living it every day and like you're seeing that other people live it or talk about it every day. It's like way more consumable.
no, for sure. I like those informational stuff. I've kind of gotten away from for a while now. Honestly, you guys probably have some better stuff.
Josh, what do you, anything?
Um, I listen to Scott Mize. Um,
Awesome podcast.
I really like when it comes to like podcasts, especially about bodybuilding, I like hearing stories more than um
Hmm.
like I want to hear about like someone's life. Like I've watched both of your guys is on Scott's. Obviously I have Next Up podcast that Colin and I do.
Yep.
Like little plug, even though I haven't been posting that too much. But in general, like I would rather hear a story than hear the X's and O's. I feel like again, I always reference this one. Everything works until it doesn't. So it's like you can learn whatever you want, but sooner or later it might not work for that person. Now you got to pivot, and now what are you going to go and listen to another 2.5 hour podcast to try and find the answer? And kind of got to just experience it, or if you could contact the person who's running the podcast you wanted to learn something from, that's probably going to get you a much faster answer. So it's just I like hearing stories about like people's lives and stuff like that. So those are the podcasts I kind of listen to.
All right. To be different, I have one, and this is one that I found recently. Um, and I don't know that tons of people on our side of the pond are listening to it. The Bros Meet Science podcast. It's a group of UK guys. Fucking awesome. Love it. I had no experience, no knowledge of any of these guys. It's for bodybuilders. They have guests occasionally. Um, one guy, I think his name is Peter Hill, or he goes by Hilly. He's like the OG coach competitor. They're all competitors. A bunch of them are close friends or have worked with Jordan Peters. Um, it's more informational. It's more similar to ours, where they just get tons of questions. They rip through them. They all have their own experience. They all coach. But I love it. It's fucking, they are hilarious. I don't know if it's just because it's something different. The language, the lingo, the slang that they use from being over in the UK.
Mhm.
I am laughing my balls off when I listen to this podcast, on top of receiving tons of really good information, and it is different from what you hear on a regular basis from the people in America. It's a different perspective. Um, and just the language and everything is fucking hilarious. They got me saying a bunch of fucking funny ass phrases, and Kels is just over it. Like they use mega as like a compliment. Like if someone looks really good or whatever, they'll be like, mate, he was up there in the blue trunks and he was looking fucking mega. And I am just cracking up listening to this podcast. But super informational. I reached out to Peter Hilly about coming on. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Hopefully he's going to come on at some point. But that's a good one. I would check that one out.
They have a great bodybuilding scene over there, and like
They love it, dude. They are all in. They are all in.
it's very cool. If obviously like Luke and James and all them kind of brought some of that scene to light, JP and stuff. But yeah, it's cool, man. They're all
I'll say too, like, like Kuba is kind of like one of those guys over there too. They are very opposite of whatever he's putting out. They are much more
bro.
American bro science than what that is.
Yeah, you
And
see, I was saying the safer use model over there is like really took off, right?
bro, they talk about it all the time that they prefer to listen to American podcasts because they're like, everyone here is doing the same shit. It's all Joe Jeffries and Kuba. Like everyone thinks that safer use is the way. He's like, some of these, one of them will be like, mate, if I hear somebody else tell me to do 300 mgs a test and 1,000 mgs a master on, I'm going to blow my fucking brains out. Like, where's the high test in EQ? That's where I want to be at. Like, so I hear all this shit and I'm like, man, this sounds like us. Like these guys are right up our alley. So,
I'll have to check that out.
that they love their high GH. They love LANTUS over there. Like this group of guys, they love LANTUS. It's very, very similar, but a whole nother world of experience, and just a whole 4 sets of lifetimes of experience to hear from.
That's awesome.
I got to die on this hill real quick.
Yeah.
1.5 grams of Masteron is not safe for fucking use.
Well, it depends
It's
on who you ask, but I agree.
I was I was a Kuba client, right? Like I know exactly what the safer use models are. They're not safer use. It's how high can I get these milligrams without it skewing my blood work to a degree.
But
Um,
a gram and a half of Masteron or Primo is gonna fuck your lipids up.
exactly. So it's not safer use. It's how high can I get this until I fuck it up.
It's
So
gonna fuck your lipids up, and for a lot of people, it's gonna fuck your E2 up.
Harshly.
Yeah, yeah.
that's as you were sitting there saying that, I had to get that one off my chest. So
Yeah,
I ran those schemes, man. It felt like I was swimming upstream.
100%.
It's like, man, I'm getting some work done here, but it seems like it's resisting me, like it's just not, I'm not feeling like I feel like I should feel.
Well, it's nothing like how I feel when I'm on high test and EQ.
No,
I
because
felt toxic.
yeah,
I
yeah.
felt just drug heavy when I was on those cycles.
I also just felt like you were saying, Austin, it just felt like, yes, there was progress being had, but it was all slow. Like it didn't felt like I was cruising with momentum. Like when I'm in the off season eating a lot of food and taking a lot of tests, I feel like an ox. I feel like a bull in a china shop.
I didn't have that edge like you should have in the off.
No, no, no.
Yeah, that was not there. And then I like the cycle after that, I literally kept like the DHT derivative the same, but like 5 times the test.
Fuck yeah.
Way better.
No shit.
Way better. Obviously, it was more total gear, but
How do you balance giving criticism / feedback while also maintaining your client's confidence in the plan?
I think it's ultimately about knowing the individual and how they receive feedback. But you have to, it's a delicate balance. It's very delicate of, hey, like, I can relate here and I can be understanding in this situation. Like, I don't need to, I understand you're already being hard on yourself. Like, let's move forward. If there's recurring themes happening, then harder conversations need to be had. Uh, it's just really about like, I don't think it's one way or the other all the time for sure. And you guys probably have maybe an alternate opinion on that, but you do have to, it's like any relationship. Like, you got to know when to push, and sometimes you just need to be more gentle. And ultimately it's about like understanding the situation. And I think that's where like experience is like the ultimate factor as a coach, and like being a bodybuilder yourself, and understanding what all struggles come with that, because there's a lot of things people don't know about this stuff until you're in it and doing it, and like having that ability to relate to them, and know like, hey, you need to get it together here, or it's like, hey, this is part of maturing as an athlete. We're gonna learn from it. We're gonna get better. We're gonna move on, and like being more positive. It's yeah, it's I mean it's tough, but I think just having the experience is the most helpful thing there.
I find that after a while, you start to attract the clientele that like takes your training best. Um, I'll have an example as like a client and as a coach. Like I have certain clients that like I could literally respond to their check-in and be like, "What the fuck did you eat? Like, what's wrong with you?" And then I have other clients where it's like, "Hey, listen, you had a cheat meal off plan, or you had an off plan meal. It's not a big deal. Like we can fix everything at the end of the day." So like I'm in agreement with Austin, but like for me personally, I would rather somebody tell me that I'm a piece of shit. I would rather nail the plan and be like, "This wasn't good enough." Um, so like it's like you said, like it's learning the client, but realistically, like you start to attract the people that you kind of are. Um, and your style of coaching is like why they hired you in the first place. So that's just how I view it.
I agree with that. I mean, you see that with Joe a lot. Like, your guys they understand what they're getting themselves into, right? So, and they're on board for that. And that's what they want. That's what they want, right?
I told them to tell me my legs are shit before every leg day. It's like,
I don't necessarily need to do that. But when it's required, I will say that this set sucks and I want you to train like a bodybuilder because we need to improve your legs. I
Straight.
think you guys both nailed it. There were both things that I was going to say. One, it's knowing the individual client, and then two, it's a lot of times the more that you put yourself out there, and especially in a situation like this where the three of us do a podcast every week and it's long form and people get to hear us display our knowledge and our personalities in an open setting as opposed to um, the short form 30-second marketing reel that most coaches use to try to garner new clients. I have found that the more that I put out in terms of long form, authentic communication, the more that you attract the right type of people for you. Um, so for me, yeah, I'm stern. I would say I get that word a lot about how I coach or how I communicate. But it's also because you didn't pay me to be a cheerleader and you didn't pay me to be your friend. You paid me to level you up in terms of bodybuilding. And so, I think about it a lot. It's a different era and he's not even there anymore. And I'm now nowhere near this type of level. But as an example, in 2010, if you were a stud football player, you didn't choose to go to Alabama because you wanted to be friends with Nick Saban. You chose to go to Alabama so that Nick Saban would coach you up and get the most out of you. And when I think about like athletes hiring me, that's what I think about. You didn't hire me to be your friend. You didn't hire me to, tap you on the back or cheer you along and tell you that everything's going to be great. You hired me because you thought that I could get you somewhere that you couldn't get on your own. So that's my job as a coach. Now, the way that that message is delivered is custom to the person. It has to be. And the way that I personally customize it per the person really boils down to that person's goals and what you've expressed to me your goals are. So my lifestyle guys, I am more understanding. I don't want to say forgiving because you don't owe me anything. And I don't, you don't need me to say that it's okay. But if you just want to look good at the beach, or you want to be healthier for your kids, or, you want to look good at soccer practice or whatever the case is, and you come to me and say, hey, look, dude, Saturday we had a family party and I had no choice. I ate my first 3 meals on plan and then the rest of the day was a free for all. I am going to understand, and you are not going to hear a negative word from me. If you come to me and you say bodybuilding is my life and I am hiring you because I want to be a professional bodybuilder one day and I want to bring my physique to the highest possible level, and then 3 weeks in a row you have an excuse for me in your check-in as to why you didn't pack your food and went somewhere for the day, or you went on a trip and didn't bother to pack your drugs or your food, or you skipped training, or you just weren't feeling it, or you slept in and missed your check-in, I am going to apply, or I am going to respond appropriately.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be as though that you and I are friends. It's going to be that I'm a coach that sees that you are not living up to your own expectation and the standard that I've set for you. So I know that was kind of a lengthy answer, but
That's the perfect answer. Is it all boils down to what's the goal at hand? Because it's no holds bars. If you're telling me pro is the goal, I want to be an Olympian. Well, like as soon as you're fucking off, like you're gonna hear about it, and I'm gonna tell you how your actions aren't aligning with your goals, and you need to revisit those goals and either change them or get your shit together.
and it doesn't even need to be pro. It could be, I want to win an overall. I want to win my class. I want to get on stage for the first time, because even if that's the idea, I want to get on stage. You are now a representation of my business and my knowledge and who I am as a person.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen if you keep doing this. Like, I will not let you.
No, it's not gonna be under my name.
Well, yeah, you're not making that decision. Like, you're not paying me for my services. Like, you're paying to be part of this club that I run.
Right.
And I make the calls on those decisions.
That's right. And the thing is, though, like, and that I do want to say, like, that probably sounds harsh or stern, but also I am super passionate about what I do. I love bodybuilding and I love helping people bodybuild.
Yep.
And so, by the same token, for as harshly as I might come down on you if you are not living up to the expectation, I am going to be just as excited when you do. I'm not going to be a cheerleader for no reason, but when you're nailing it, I am not going to hesitate to let you know that you're nailing it and that I'm stoked about it, or that you're going in the right direction. And I think that's something that I've had to mature and learn, because I know that for me personally, I don't really require much positive feedback as an athlete myself. So it's something that I've had to learn that other people do really well with. And so it just, that also just depends on the person, but I've learned more and more to let that excitement out for other people when they are doing well.
Yeah, give the compliment when it's earned, right?
When it's warranted.
Yeah. Don't just throw them out every week. Like, hey, you're doing a great job.
And I think with that, when you're doing a good job of that exactly as a coach, I have heard this from people, and it makes me feel good as a coach when I hear this, that people have said when they get a compliment from me, it means something. I think that's important, because if you are just complimenting people every time someone checks in, wow, this looks great. Wow, this is awesome. Yeah. Eventually it just becomes part of the furniture. It doesn't mean anything. It's just there every week. So there might be 6 check-ins in a row, especially if you're in contest prep and you're checking in every 2 or 3 days. There's going to be many check-ins in a row that I don't say a word about how you look. I may generally give you an idea of like, hey, we're right on track, or, this is moving in the right direction, whatever. But then 3 weeks out when you check in and I'm like, man, this back lat spread is nasty. You're going to be a problem on stage. You better believe that means something. You better believe it was genuine.
Yeah, because I'm trying to earn that feeling on my end as well. Like we're focused on a goal here, and like until I'm truly feeling that in my heart and soul, like I'm not gonna be saying it. And like my standards are high, so like I'm
Fucking right.
not gonna feel that for myself
Right.
until it's warranted, and that's typically in that within that 3 week mark. And it's like, hey, brother,
Yeah.
we're bringing this shit. I'm proud of you. Let's finish it. You
Yeah. Hell yeah.
know?
Best advice to young bodybuilders, specifically in my teen years.
Have fun with it.
Good.
Don't don't I don't want to say don't take this shit so seriously, but like if you aren't having fun, it's not gonna last. So have fun with it. Find what works for you, experiment with different things. Like stick to a plan, but at the end of that 12 weeks, if the plan, you lost interest in the plan, switch your plan, figure out something else and have fun with it. Keep it rotating. Don't don't get stagnant.
I love that. That's probably the last thing that I would have ever said. And I think it's probably the best piece of advice someone could give.
It's important. I think a couple points come to mind. They're like one, seek good mentorship or coaching early. If you can't afford it, find someone who has a respectable physique and ask them questions and form a relationship with them in some regard. Um,
Listen to our podcast. That's
yeah,
literally the whole idea of why I do shit like this.
but stuff like that. B like comparison, especially for a young kid this what these days with social media and stuff. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Like, focus on your progress, and because at the end of the day, like your progress is a reflection of your efforts, and like you literally can't, you have no effect on anyone else's. So do your best, and if that's not good enough, then be hard on yourself. But don't be hard on yourself because someone else is progressing more. Be hard on yourself because you can do better. um, and that, I think a lot of kids struggle with that these days. Like that's a little different for us. Like we didn't have the every bodybuilder in the world right here all the time.
No.
So it's different, right? It's hard for us to, but I deal with that with a lot of young individuals. It's like, hey, stay in your lane and trust whoever is guiding you or whatever you're doing, and do it at your fullest capability. um, so those two come to mind, and then just the third one is like, if this is something you truly want to do, just like don't, like, it is a lifestyle change, and like specifically as a young individual, there's a lot of peer pressures. Like, look at it as like you've bought a new piece of clothing, and instead of being, or like a pair of shoes, that's maybe like, be proud of them versus feeling like you're wearing something that's like embarrassing or something. Like, embrace being a bodybuilder and say, hey, I'm a bodybuilder. And like, if people are like, what the fuck, and you're out and you're eating beef and rice, like you'll be like, yeah, I'm a bodybuilder. Like, I'm going to be jacked and huge one day, and then I'm going to make fun of you for giving me shit right now. Just like, be a bodybuilder and accept it, and don't
Take pride in it.
take pride in it. Is essentially what I'm saying. Like, don't be shy about being a bodybuilder, because I think that's something I struggled with for a long time, was just like the peer pressures and this and that, and like feeling that external pressure of like you know fully giving yourself to something that requires so much, and like not going out and doing certain young individual things. It's like, just take pride in being a bodybuilder, and know that that's like what fills your cup, and like try to relieve those external pressures off yourself.
When you say that you struggled with that, how did that manifest as a young man? Like, were you ashamed to like pull a meal out in front of people, or, would you avoid skipping things? I guess that's a bad way of putting it, but like, would you go do things that you knew that you didn't really want to do or that didn't align with bodybuilding so that you didn't say that you missed out on it?
Yeah, I think that was a part of it, because I think a little piece of me still wanted to do those things, and I hadn't fully like embraced. I want to, do this like to the biggest, best I can. And so then it like turned from like that to then like isolation to then like trying to like give myself a break from the sport for a while and entertain doing those things. And
Mm.
that's when, that period of time is when I did fully scratch that itch was when I said, like, no, I want to, like, fuck all this shit. Like, I want to be a bodybuilder. And
Mm.
that's like that pressure finally left.
Josh, did you struggle with that at all?
No, I had to leave one vice to go to bodybuilding, so it was like I didn't really have a choice.
Mm.
Um, it was like I vividly
What,
remember.
like drinking, partying? Like,
Yeah, I was. I mean, I guess technically I am an alcoholic, right? So I
yeah.
was I was drinking to a degree that was like unsafe. Pretty much ran out of money and just kind of had chicken and rice at the house. And I was like, I already like working out. This is my only option.
Mm.
And I knew that for me personally, I played football my entire life. And then I considered myself damn near a competitive drinker at one point. So I was like, I needed something to,
An outlet. A
yeah,
comp-
like I needed to compete in something. And I also hated the idea of coaches at the time. Like my
Mm.
football coaches kind of drove me into the alcoholism. So it was like,
Mm.
what is the
This
one
is
sport?
individual. I can do this on my own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Even though I still talk to people, I still had somebody write a diet up for me, but it was like I don't need to
You're
talk
in
to this motherfucker for
control.
6 days.
Yeah.
On seventh day, I'll take a picture, I'll send it to him, and I don't really care what his response is. Whatever he gives me as my next thing to do, I'm gonna do.
It's also a control thing. Like you play football and it's like they're going to tell you to do this drill. You got to be here at this time. What at bodybuilding, it's like, man, I could show up and do fasted cardio at 8 and then I could come back at 3 and train. I could go train at 5. I could do high volume. I could do low volume. Like I'm controlling all this.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally, I needed that, like, yeah, like Austin said, I needed the outlet. I was in high school bringing meals to school just because I didn't feel like spending money on school lunch.
Mm.
So like I never cared about stuff like that. I needed the outlet.
Right on. Um, yeah, best advice, man. I would say, I don't know. I don't know that I could add a whole lot. I think you guys really nailed it. Um, I
Don't
like
do
the
science-based lifting.
what's that?
Don't do science-based lifting.
You know what? That brings me to probably the best advice that I can give that you guys didn't touch on at least. I would say, and you did kind of touch on this, Austin, but I would say in terms of like mentorship or listening to somebody or following someone's advice, information, I would very specifically, if I could start it all over, I would find people that looked like I wanted to eventually look or achieve the things that I eventually wanted to achieve. And I would solely listen to them. I would not entertain anyone else or any other opinions at all. So if I was, it doesn't matter if I was 160 pounds, like I was at one point at 5'11" or 6 feet tall, and there was an influencer with 200,000 followers saying X, Y, and Z, but they were 180 pounds. If I wanted to be 260 pounds one day, I'm not listening to you because you have no fucking clue what it takes to be 260 pounds. So if I want to be 260 pounds one day, I'm going to find somebody that was there previously, is there now, or is already beyond that. And I'm listening to only that person or only those types of people. I think one of the worst mistakes that you can make is entertaining the opinions of people that don't have the things that you want.
Yeah, I love that, man. And that just like all comes back to the social media thing and like understanding that as a young person, there's like marketing and then there's like the real deal.
That's
And a lot
it.
of people are good at this one, right? So
That's
uh,
right.
just be careful. It's overload of information and stuff out there. Just I love that advice, man. It's good. What you got?
Do you notice any difference between splitting your GH up during the day versus one dose? And then do you notice any difference between IM or sub Q? So two separate questions.
Yes to the splitting. Personally, I feel like a little drowsy throughout the day. I didn't feel like I had like a kick to me.
Yep.
Um, I felt like I just constantly needed like a caffeine drip. Um, and then IM versus sub Q was the other part, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So IM, to me, I think I'm still under the belief it's going to be really hard for me to break this, that if you do IM injections of GH, that you are going to grow muscle tissue. Um, it,
Localized.
yeah, like how I look at it is just the fact of if you are injecting something that is going to proliferate your cells into a muscle, it's going to make more muscle cells, period.
I mean, there's some research to support that ideology, so I like it too. I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that one. And why not, right? I mean, if it's not going to be worse than doing it
It's not
subcutaneous,
going to make it smaller.
if
Ooh,
it adds to it, great.
I will say this, that since wearing the CGM, I've noticed I will go hypo in the middle of the night if I do an IM injection versus sub-Q injection. I won't
Yes.
go hypo if I do sub-Q. If I do IM, about if I go to bed at like 9, around 12:30
12.
o'clock, yeah,
Yep.
I'm going fucking hypo and I'm waking up
Yep.
to pee and I feel like the room is spinning.
Like
Did I
fifth,
tell you guys I passed out?
yeah.
Yes.
I noticed the exact same thing from the CGM. And this is supported in what the research has said. The research has said that IM is a higher, quicker peak, especially when we're talking about the use of it before bed, versus sub Q, lower peak, longer, more stable duration. So I noticed that not only in my blood sugar, but also how I feel. So if I am splitting it up during the day and I take an IM shot, 2.5 to 3 hours later, I feel like I'm gonna fucking pass out, and my blood sugar's up high, and then comes crashing back down. Same thing before bed, 2.5, 3 hours after I go to bed, I see on the chart a big old spike, and then it comes fucking rocketing down, and every time that's when I wake up.
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the lethargy thing for sure, doing it throughout the day. And then, like, I also
You
just,
told me you couldn't keep your eyes open,
no,
splitting it up.
yeah, I was dead. And then, like, I also noticed like fluid retention was a little harder to manage doing that versus doing it at night and letting your body kind of like naturally flush overnight, which happens if you're sleeping well. I noticed like definitely, like intramuscular fluids were higher too, right? So, like, I did notice like a little more of a pump in the gym, but the rest of the day
Yes.
I was a sloth.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, the just the wateriness, which is going to equate to like higher blood pressure throughout the day and stuff like that, was definitely worse splitting it up.
And then, like we talked about, I think if you are concerned about your blood sugar during the day, eating large amounts of food at a higher body weight slash higher body fat percentage, um, I do think that is a good time. If you're not going to use Lantus, I think it's a good time to bolus before bed.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's. I mean, ultimately, if it's in, it's working, and like the rest is a bit minute. But as far as just managing overall sides and how you well be sense of well being, I've found that like pre bed's kind of ideal.
This
How do you
leads,
guys go
I'm
ahead?
sorry. This leads me to a question of if you are somebody who's consistently waking up same time every night, would it be better to do, let's say, an IM shot pre-bed and then doing a second IM shot, let's say at 1 a.m.? Because that way, what is it, 3 to 4 hours for it to fully kick in, and then for the lipolysis effect, if you're doing cardio at 6 a.m., you're going to get that from it. It's not going to be on the downswing. So almost splitting your shot overnight if you are someone who wakes up. Some people won't, but
I take notes at the end of every contest prep that I do. Back to 2018, I have a note that is 2018 prep reflections slash reminder for 2019 or whatever the next time that I plan to prep. This year's prep at the end of it and for notes for next year, I wrote to myself that I am going to do that. I'm going to take an enormous amount, of course, goes without saying. I'm doing all IM shots. And not only am I going to do one prior to going to bed, I'm going to have one loaded and ready to go for when I get up to go to the bathroom.
And that's pretty predictable that you're going to do that every night.
Every night I do. I wake up basically 3 hours after I fall asleep every night.
Is that always from having to pee?
Yep.
Interesting.
Same here, actually. It's like
I never wake up at
clockwork.
night.
You don't at all?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter what I do, dude. It doesn't matter if I stop drinking. If I can get all, I've tried like wild stuff. I've tried getting like my set amount of water. If I'm doing 6 liters, whatever it is, I have tried finishing that 6 liter by 3:30 in the afternoon. And then I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And without fail, I'm waking up at midnight to pee.
Are you still using the diuretic?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it.
Well, no, even before, sorry, even long before I ever put that in.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried replacing the salt in either your final meal or final 2 meals with potassium salt instead of normal salt?
Dog, I've tried pulling. I had weeks that I did not a gram of added salt.
Hmm.
I've been using right now. I've been doing 1-to-1 new salt to actual salt. New salt is just like potassium.
Same because of the HCTZ.
Yeah.
I've been doing the same thing.
Yep.
But sometimes that can cure nighttime peeing. I forget the actual verbiage for it. But if
Yeah.
someone who struggles with that, try lowering the sodium in your final meal and increasing the potassium. That can help that if it's something that's like causing issues.
I've done both. I've tried removing the sodium from my last meal. I've tried adding sodium to my last meal, thinking I might just retain the fluid overnight instead of flushing it. And it's just consistent. The only thing that I can think of that I haven't tried yet, and I don't know how to pronounce the word, but I've heard people talk about it, is this miragoblin or whatever it is. It's I guess a beta-3 agonist that was created to kind of relax the um, whatever it is, your kidneys to prevent you from peeing overnight.
Hmm.
Have you heard of this? People are using it in prep for fat loss.
I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it. I've heard the
Yeah,
name.
I don't know. I don't know much about it either. I'm talking out of my ass.
I think I have an enormous bladder, so I'll
Oh,
pee
your
from.
bladder. What did I say? Kidneys? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, it's kind of in the same ballpark. That is a big part of like our renal aldosterone. That is our
No,
renal.
I know. I fucked that up though, for sure.
Same thing.
Um, okay, how do you guys feel about ab training in general, especially if the person has shallow abs while they're peeled? So I'm gonna intervene.
Yeah.
And especially I'm not going to name the person, so this is why I'm willing to do this. I assume the person listens, and that's why they wrote this in. This guy was not peeled. And this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. People, I see it all the time. Peeled. I was peeled. He was peeled. She was peeled. We way overuse this word. And to me, like if you did not have striated glutes, crazy hamstrings,
Try a little bit.
no tangible fat on your lower back, like just above where your trunks are as a guy, and like people at the show, people that don't even know you, coming up to you saying like, dude, what the fuck, you were peeled. Like, guys, like just because you checked the boxes and competed, like that doesn't mean you were peeled. Like this is something you have to earn to be able to say. And I know this because I haven't been peeled at every show. There's been times that I've been peeled, and there's been times that I was out of shape. And this guy was in good, decent shape. He actually messaged me about it like a couple of days before the show, and he was like, "What do you think?" And I was honest. I said, "You're in respectable shape, but you're not peeled." So I think if you're talking about whether it's your abs or your quads or anything else, if you're talking about the detail or the visibility of a particular muscle, when you're talking about getting on stage, get leaner and it looks better.
Yeah. But a bigger muscle, is going to show that earlier. So, like, yeah, if your abs are shit,
Of
then
course.
I think the issue with a lot of ab training, though, is people kind of like do it as like they'll like tack it in with their cardio, and it's like every day of the week, and it's got to half ass. It's like train your abs like you train your quads, like train them very hard and train them to failure, and do it like 2 to 3 times a week, like hard with proper form too. Like people don't, I
What are
don't
you
think
doing for abs? Do you train like heavy weighted abs?
I'll do like I'll do like 4 sets of cable crunch a week to failure.
Okay.
Um, but I think people like don't even understand how to train the abdomen a lot of the
They
time.
don't. They don't.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue I think with ab training. So there most people are using just training their hip flexors and they're doing all these like weighted things but incorrectly. So learn how to train your abs. Like developing them is gonna, help them appear thicker, but like the body fat has to be gone, obviously.
What about you, Josh? You training abs?
I haven't trained abs since college. Um, I I personally feel like I have a good set of abs. I do vacuums, if we're counting that as ab training, but like direct ab work, no. I personally, I'm pretty opinionated on this. I think it's a waste of fucking time. I've seen one person ever have their abs actually transform from training them. He's one of my good friends here. His name is Joe. Me and you actually kind of spoke about him earlier today. Uh, Great dude. He's the only person I've ever seen's abs actually look different from training him. And he was training 2 sets, half-assed every single day of weighted V-ups on the side of a bench with a dumbbell in between his legs. They weren't a failure. His abs look significantly different. He hasn't trained abs since. They look exactly the same.
It is a muscle that'll maintain really well once they're developed. And I'll say one thing to make them thicker than anything else is like do multi-joint movements without a belt and learn how to brace your fucking core. Like that's gonna make your abdomen wall thicker than anything else as far as like the development of the actual size of the abs. Like I've seen guys like be skinny and then like train hard for a couple years, put on the body fat, lose it, and they have bricks for abs and they didn't have them at all before. And just doing squats without a belt, learn how to train. Like people are very dependent on using a belt for whatever reason. It's almost like, oh, I'm doing a heavy set, I have to use a belt. It's like get your core strong enough to do these movements
That
without.
any type of hinge or like row, like anything like that,
Yeah,
anything that's going to accrue axial fatigue, right?
exactly, exactly.
um
That's how you get a thick core.
so I'll say this: I'm somewhere in between you two gentlemen, especially for my own personal circumstance. Past couple of years I've put on a pretty good amount of muscle tissue. It has also coincided with my midsection being larger.
100%.
So, this year I'm trying something a little bit differently. I have trained them in the past pretty consistently. I've done other years where I only did vacuums and, I vacuum on stage. So I'm trying a totally new approach this year. And it's just something I'm throwing out as my own 2 cents. As I add to my surplus and body weight and hopefully muscle tissue this off season, I'm not training my abs at all. I'm not doing any type of crunching, leg lifts, nothing. I'm not doing any type of stimulus to it that would force it to grow or utilize the food, the drugs, any of those things. I do not want it to grow. I am vacuuming every single day. Oftentimes, depending on how I split it up, twice a day. I'm also planking every day. So I'm training the control of my abs. I'm not necessarily training like a stretch and contraction to try to grow them.
You're training your transverse abdominis just to have better
Right.
waist.
That's it. That's it. With that said, I'm hoping that while I do that, as everything else grows, it will train my ability to control my midsection and thus keep it smaller, let's say. And then next year, when I get into prep, I will go back to training it because the stimulus to grow in terms of calorie surplus is not going to be there. And theoretically, at that point, my stomach should be shrinking alongside that. So I'm gonna try and just toy with the timing of this, and hopefully hopefully it results in a better looking midsection next year.
I think the TVA stuff 100% is going to have a great result. I mean, that's super important and hugely important once we're like getting actually big and pushing like large volume.
I've never done it either in the off season. I've done dedicated vacuums during preps, and sure enough, it resulted in a better vacuum at the end. Like, once you were already in shape, but I've never done it when it was like more difficult, when it's bigger and you're pushing food. And a lot of times what I'm doing right now is I'm doing half of them fasted in the morning and then half of them before my final meal. And they're not good, but I'm teaching my stomach that control even after it's full. So we'll see.
I'd be willing to bet you're like noticing yourself kind of keeping it more like being more cognizant of it throughout the day, doing that, right?
All throughout the day. And it does honestly seem like every time I do them, they're easier.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed them get sore? Your transverse abdominis gets sore.
The only time this whole year that I noticed that, I took a day off literally from everything because I was just beat to shit. And I just took a day. I didn't do cardio. I didn't do steps. I fucking laid on the couch and did nothing all day. Monday came around. I got back on my routine. Tuesday, the next morning, I laid down to do the vacuums, and my everything involved was sore.
That's crazy. It's like
yeah.
that
so that like repeated bout effect is preventing it from getting sore. And then there was a break, and then I came back to it, and it was sore.
It shows you were kind of in a bit of a hole there, probably.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, for sure.
I do my first round of vacuums in the second round of the sauna.
Okay.
I go.
You have a sauna at the house?
Yeah.
You bastard. A good one? Like a wooden one, or is it like one of those tents?
Yeah, it's a wood one.
Damn, dude.
I guess I'll say this on the podcast. I sold my neighbor a month of personal training for it.
Oh, right on. Nice.
Got it technically for free, and we moved it 40 feet.
So. Nice. What, he's selling them? Or it
no,
was
he bought the house. It was in the basement of the house. He never used it.
So no kidding.
I was like, hey, listen, I want this.
Oh, it was a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I was like, hey, listen, I want this. He's like, you can come over and use it, or you could help me lose 20 pounds. And I was like, I'll help you lose 20 pounds. I don't want to come.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just do it. But
I want one desperately, dude, like a legit one, not one of those tent ones, like the one that you had, like a wooden, like proper sauna. I want one for the house so bad.
They're
crazy expensive, dog.
All
the decent ones that I looked at are $5,000 or $6,000.
No, 1,200.
Okay, let's talk after.
Get one on Amazon.
Yeah, hit us in the comment section if you guys.
Yeah, if you guys know a good, like a real sauna. I don't want one of those sweat tents.
Yeah. No, you can get one on Amazon, like you need a 2-person because you're too big for a single.
No, really?
Yeah. Like I'm
not that big, dude.
You guys are both bigger than me, and I don't fit in a single.
Well, you're actually quite massive.
A single person one, you can't fit into it?
It's very tight. My double is tight.
It's like an airplane.
Really?
Yeah. When I go home, I'll send you a picture of it.
I'm glad you said that, dude. I would have never considered buying a 2-person one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the right one's probably a 3-person, but yeah, there's one.
All right. One
now,
more.
1900.
Yeah. All right. That's not terrible. We'll talk. Any pet peeves that you see people doing during training?
Fuck yes. Being on your fucking phone. Sorry, I'm here all fucking day long. This one's
you live in the gym.
Yeah, if I see you on your phone in the middle of a machine just sitting on there, I'm coming up to you and I'm asking you, how many texts do you have left? I'm not asking you how many sets because I'm kicking you off the machine. How many texts do you have left? Because I'm going right now and you can send your text while I'm on the machine.
Bro, I log my training in my phone. What are you going to do to me?
I'm probably going to ask you how many texts you have left. And when you say I'm logging my set, I'm going to be like, all right, never mind.
Fair enough.
I'm
You're
still
not
gonna say
you're
it.
not talking that type of shit to someone that looks like Austin either.
I probably would.
I don't believe you.
I'm gonna be honest with you because, like,
I don't believe you at all.
see, here's my thing is that I'm always on either side of my training. I have a client, I have a client. I don't have the time to fuck around in between. So I'm gonna be like, yo, how many texts do you have left? Like, I gotta go.
It's fair.
Damn. Here's one. I have one and it's simple. There's a million, honestly, that I could drop. And it's whether I see it on Instagram, YouTube, in person. When I see people that are bodybuilders or claim to be bodybuilders or want to be bodybuilders, or at the very least are intentionally training with the idea of improving their physique, and they are training their back and they don't use straps, I really just don't take you seriously.
It's a big one for me, man. I harp on that. All clients required.
Required. Working sets required. I don't care what movement it is.
Honestly, like not just
I've
back.
never seen someone with a really good back for bodybuilding that just trained barehanded.
They'll have good arms,
They'll have good forearms, maybe.
maybe. Yeah,
Ramon.
that's a big one, man. I love that point. That's a good one. I think, dude, my biggest one is like lack of intent behind training. Like I'll literally like catch myself saying things out loud to people. Like I wish people would like just pay attention to what you're doing. Like get something out of it. Like there's so people like if I see you looking around and you're in a working set and I see your eyes like look somewhere.
How about the people scrolling mid set?
I don't
That's
know. I
crazy.
mean, I've seen that before at like Planet Fitness with like a
No,
45.
no. I train at a real deal gym and I've seen it.
That shit. That would make me cuss for sure.
I saw somebody texting while doing a single arm tricep extension the other day and telling me that he trained hard. And I said, was that before or after the text you sent during the set?
Crazy, just
Damn.
crazy stuff. Like
Or like leg extend. I'll see people doing it on a leg extension. They're doing a leg extension, kicking
Yeah.
away, and they're scroll. And it's not even like they're texting. Like, okay, maybe you had something come up or whatever. Like, you should just wait and do the set. But I'm talking like mindlessly doom scrolling while you're doing a leg extension. Like that is crazy to me.
there was a guy at my old gym. He would play like some fucking game on his phone horizontally every work. And
No.
be like on the adductor, fucking like this, just playing this fucking.
How did
game.
he look?
Oh,
Awesome.
he looked like shit. But it was just like the fact that every time I saw that guy, he was doing that. It drove me insane. But
Yeah, I got another one.
Okay. You got all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just here too often. Um, Somebody walking on the treadmill on an incline with their hands on the fucking treadmill.
yeah,
Yeah.
90% of the time, I'll look at them.
leaning backwards.
I'm like, yo, look, there's a hill like right outside the gym. Go walk up that with your hands on something. And
Yeah, like I don't think that's nearly as bad as when you see someone on the Stairmaster and they're slaving over it.
yeah,
Like they're draped over the front of it. You know what I mean?
High green in it.
Yes.
Andrew Jack does the same thing. He did it here.
Speed 2.
I see him. He does it at MI40.
It was speed 3 here. He was taking a video, and I like.
Didn't you say he was eating a fucking Snickers on the Stairmaster or some shit?
Yeah, it was some sort of candy bar. If it was a protein bar, I'd be shocked if it was, but it was
Even
it
if
was like 4 weeks out too.
Dog. Somebody asked me, we'll do a separate episode and we're going to wrap this up. But I put my Olympia predictions up the other day, might have been yesterday. And I put Andrew Jacked as 8th. And somebody replied, and I had Brandon Curry as someone that was right ahead of him at 7th. Because I thought Brandon looked fantastic at the Arnold, personally. And someone replied and was like, pretty good list, but I don't think that there's any way that Andrew Jacked is this low. And I said, you know what? I don't think that he's actually going to place this low either. But I am sick and tired of seeing the single most gifted bodybuilder on planet Earth showing up to the biggest show in the world as though he was told 2 weeks prior that he's doing a guest posing. I'm tired of it.
Half
A
baked.
little bit.
What?
Go ahead, Austin.
You said half baked.
He looks half baked to me. He's not fully done.
Right.
Very Lionel Bianchi esque.
But worse, bro. But worse.
I don't know,
Six
bro.
foot two, 300 pounds.
If Lionel had been peeled, he probably could have won Olympia.
If Andrew Jack ever once showed up peeled, he's going to win the Olympia.
Yeah, 100%.
Him peeled, Samson peeled. Who wins?
Andrew.
You think so?
Yes.
I think Samson and him have similar S physiques, and Samson's going to win that one because of size.
Size where?
Samson is definitely bigger than Andrew.
I think he's a little bubblier in places, but structurally smaller, like which is crazy to say.
I would love to see
I will
shoulder
give
with
one. I will give you one thing, and I think it would be honestly the biggest reason out of all of them. They are both sliced out of their minds. They both have Derek Lunsford glutes. Andrew's midsection is something sent from the fucking heavens, and Samson's midsection doesn't look great.
Josh, and the back
side leg.
the back would probably be a lights out too, because Samson's back looks small when he's full.
Right. Right.
See,
Andrew's perfect everywhere. It's all put together perfect. He just comes in like he's 9 weeks out, and they told him the day before that he has to get on stage.
I feel like his hamstrings lack a little bit.
Maybe,
Like,
but it's all perfect. Like what Austin said. Like Samson's back, although it has improved, is flawed. Like genetically, where it inserts and how it sweeps and everything, it's flawed. Andrews is perfect.
Yeah, he's beautiful, right?
Dude, front lat spread is mind bending, mind bending.
Because of those abs.
And if some bro and the striated pecs, he does this and the pecs cross underneath striate. Wild, crazy stuff. If somebody taught him how to pose too, forget it.
I was gonna say he could definitely use some work there. I think that when you mention the hamstrings, like in the side chest, like that's a posing issue.
It's a posing issue. Even his front double should be the best in bodybuilding, and it looks like he's half asleep.
Lazy, bro. Lazy. Just lazy posing.
And his side chest everywhere. His upper body is bananas. And it looks like he's just like, I'll hit this and then I'm gonna turn around. Like, it's like, bro, hit the shot.
Yeah, pose, Roden used to do that shit and he somehow pulled it off. Like if you watch the Olympia he won, I'm like, he is taking a nap up there.
Bro, Dennis James the entire time is like, he looks great, but I don't know what he's doing with the posing. The whole like commentating the show the whole time. He's like, man, hold one of these poses because he looks fantastic.
Slow motion the whole time.
Yeah.
It's crazy to watch.
I'm willing to backtrack on what I said.
What?
I just side by side in the side chest, and Andrew's hamstrings actually look better than Samson's.
Samson's hamstring from the side is not great. I don't think his hamstrings are great, period. He's got crazy quads, and his Samson's upper body and his side chest is crazy.
Arms, nice.
The chest, like the backpack swooped around, is crazy.
Mm. Yeah.
But if they're both peeled, I can only imagine. Even like we have to try to project and guess like what the backside might look like on both guys peeled. Bro, try to project and think about what Andrew's strengths would look like peeled, because from the front he looks insane and he's 8 weeks out.
Yeah, I mean, like his glutes are such a strong point. Think if they were as lean as Ronnie's or something.
I know, dude. I know.
As soon as he turned around, you'd go, "What the fuck?"
It's just all perfect. Like he is the winner. He is the crown jewel if he shows up in shape. I was at I guess it was the 23 Orlando Olympia, And I had crazy seats for Friday night prejudging. I'm like square middle row and maybe 9 or 11 rows back, something like that. And all the guys come out first for individuals. And everybody's coming out one by one. Everybody's really good. Derek was really good. Hottie was really good. And Andrew Jack came out and walked out all slow, right? And there's like kind of smoke in the background, whatever. And then he lifted up and hit a front lat spread, and it was like nothing I have ever seen before. Like nothing in person, like nothing in video, like AI insanity. Where everyone there was a collective like, oh, from the crowd. Other people got like applause, or like, Derek came out and they were like, wow, oh yeah, awesome, Derek. Oh wow, Hottie's incredible. And then there was almost like a silence amongst the crowd when Andrew Jack hit this front lat spread, dude. It's different. He's different.
He just makes it
So
look like a child too. He's just structurally, and he's 6, what, 2, 1?
he's 6'2", 310 pounds. Like, okay, come in at 6'2", 292
Perfect.
and dominate the biggest show in the world. All right, that's enough for me.
That's it.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Check the link for check the description for Austin's link for his shirts below, and until next time, we are out.